Welcome to the channel. Today we're having a look at the reflex stoves. This is a 61 MSK. It's a slightly bigger one. It's got a coil inside it for the back boiler, so it heats water. Got a little circulation pump that pushes the water around through the copper tubes and then round through the calorifier, which gives us hot water, and returns through a radiator and gives us a bit of warmth as well. I'm going to show you this morning how we service it. I'm going to service the diesel side of it first of all. So you just got a little diesel filter in the back to clean out. I'll show you how I light it. No mess, no hassle, nothing needed, just everything you've got on hand in front of you, and we'll do it. But let's crack on and I'll show you how to service the fuel side of the reflex stove. Now I'm going to show you the best I can, but it's not going to be easy because there's not a massive amount of room. But around the back there we've got the Toby control valve, and in the bottom of it, behind those two screws just there's a little filter. So what we need to do is to just open that plate up, drain the diesel off, pull the filter out and give it a clean out. So I've got a little pot here that I use. Put that under there. Need to turn the fuel supply off. This pipe runs to the back. I've got a header tank in the back for the engine, and I've tapped into it for the stove, so it's gravity fed, so I don't actually need to have a pump running or anything to pump the fuel through. It's gravity fed. I've only got two little screws in here. Now this will be the first time I've done this on this stove. I fitted it 12 months ago, fitted it in April 2021, and it's just coming to the end of doing its first winter now because we're in April 2022. Let's just drop that top screw out, and as far as I'm aware that's a little plate. Yeah, that's just dropped in the bottom there. That's fine. There's the two screws. Use my arm because this isn't going to be easy. That's just a plate with a rubber gasket on there. That's all that is on there. Let's pop that down there a minute. Right, so in there we've got a little gauze filter. Try and slide that out of there now. There we go. A bit tricky. Oops. Let's pull that out. Yeah. And that is absolutely spotless. That's been in there 12 months. I do try and look after my fuel. You know, it's got I'm very careful to keep the moisture out of the tank, which is what affects narrowboats, the fuel in the tank. I make sure if it's filtered that goes in, I treat the fuel that's in there. But yeah, so hopefully my work is paying off because that is spotlessly clean. And if you keep that filter clean, and I've got a filter at the other end where it comes out of the day tank. It's just a little water separator filter to drop the water out of it. And if you keep the two of them clean, it should look after you. I'll just put that back in there. Right, so now we know, let's put that down there. Now we know that the fuel filter supplying the Toby valve is nice and clean. Just a godsend. Now that is all you need to do fuel wise. Like I say, I've got a water trap filter at the other end. It's just a little bowl. You just drain the water off the bottom of it. It's just a little canister with a gauze in it. Dead easy. Just keep on top of it and you'll always be warm. I'll turn the fuel back on now. That'll let that run back through. And just replenish that little bit of fuel in the bottom there. You can see there, you see. Yes, it's a little bit off, but you know, it's fine, it's good. Red diesel obviously. And we've just got some change in the legislation going on, haven't we, from April with red diesel. That's a whole nother subject, but it's all getting a bit more expensive. But hey ho, what's not getting more expensive these days? Right, now what I'll do is I'll show you how to clear out the inside. I've turned. Okay, it's a bit fiddly, and it's a bit of a long arm job, but I'm just going to try the best I can. So first of all, you just need to find something just to prop the lid open with it. There we go, just like that. Let's get the light I've rigged up and I'll show you down inside. Like I say, that's been burning now for a couple of months since I last turned it off. You see in there? There we go. So you see the coils running around the outside. That's just a coil of copper pipe. That's got the water running through it, which heats our water up in a calorifier and a radiator, like I said. And down in the bottom there we've got the burning pot and the chamber, And we're going to fetch all that lot out now and give it a bit of a decape. So you've got some little tabs down here. There's 3 there. 1, 2, 3. And we just bend them up out the way. And then this plate here, which is split in half, it's a cast plate. We just lift that out, put it down there. And again with that one here, exactly the same. That's the other half of it. Now we can see the burning pot down the bottom there. That's got 2 tabs on it as well. And we just bring that out. So we just bring that round. That comes up. And what I've actually done, I'll show you in a second. Let's bring this out of here. It's always a bit fiddly and a bit tight, especially when you're trying to hold a camera in your hand. Now it is an absolute precise fit that is in the bottom there. So what I actually did was just shave one side off the first time I did it. I don't know if you can see, so I've just got a touch of a flat edge on that side just there. Just makes it so much easier. Bearing in mind I'm doing this one-handed as well, so that's the grate at the bottom. Now that's glowing red hot when it's fires on. That just glows red hot, and then the fuel just trickles along to the bottom there and ignites and gives you that lovely blue flame. So that's it all stripped out. That's everything that comes out. Around the edges you've got lots of little holes, the burning holes. That's where the air comes in, finds the diesel and gives you a nice ring of blue flames. So we just need to make sure they're all clear as well. Yeah, let's go on and scrape that carbon out the bottom. That's the first job. Alright, that's all I've got. Luckily I've got long arms. So literally, oh no, it's noisy. I'm sorry. Give it a scrape round in there, and you can see most of it's just loose anyway. It's coming up. Now I'm just going to put you down a minute and give it a bit more of a vigorous scrape down the bottom there and get rid of all the stubborn bits, which I can't do with one hand unfortunately, so I'm just going to put you down a sec. So that's everything now sort of scraped up and dropped into the bottom. Now we're going to get the hoover in there and suck it all out, and then we'll see what we're left with, shall we? There we go, now look at that. We've got a nice clean burner pot. We've got a pin on the outside, there you go, that's just there. That comes in and out through the diesel line. And you're supposed to just push that through each morning and just give it a little riddle like that, like I've just shown you. All the way in, give it a turn, just retract it all the way so it's just out, and that just pushes any carbon out the way that's building up and potentially stopping the diesel getting through to the fire. But yeah, that's it, that's all you got to do. It's not took me long. It took me longer to do it with a film with one hand, but it takes about 10 minutes to do that. And now we can just reassemble it all and fire it back up again. So let's do that, shall we? Just got a little bit of carbon on the bottom there, so we just give that a quick brush off. Nothing major. And then we can just pop that back down in the bottom. Now when the fire's going, you can't see this because it's right at the bottom, but that's glowing red hot. And that's what ignites the diesel. Once that's hot, the diesel ignites. That's that back in the bottom there. Got to bend the tab washers down and then put the top plate on. Half of it in and the other half in, all back together. Right, now we've turned the fuel on. You should be able to see a puddle of fuel in the bottom there. Really hard for you to see, I know, but put a puddle of fuel in now. I'm just going to show you how I light this fire. People say meths, people say firelighters. I think everyone's got their own method. I've tried them all. But what I do is open the fuel up wide, get a nice big puddle of fuel in the bottom there, and then I'll show you exactly what to do. Right, 1 square of kitchen roll, take you back to your Boy Scouts days, roll it all up, just like that, roll it all up, tie a knot in the middle, careful not to snap it, pull all that in, squeeze it sort of flattish so we can put it down through that slot, which we'll now do. We're going to put that down the slot down there. And there's a little slot just there. Pause there so you can see where I'm putting it down. Right where the diesel comes in, right over the puddle of diesel. So I'm going to put that down there. And that's down in there now. Can you see that? Just sort of, it's very hard to show you because there's not really a lot of room. But all I'm going to do is pop that match down there, oops, that's it, onto that tissue paper, and then you can see straight away that that ignites that tissue paper like that. There you go, there's smoke coming up. So now we close the lid. Excuse me a minute. That's it, close the lid because we don't want the smoke coming in. Can we see through there? Yeah, that's just that tissue smoking away. And now what I do is turn the fuel on around the back here on top of the Toby valve. That is the fuel. Okay, so they just go by a little stop really, so that's off. Feel it click by, that's like number 1. Right round here is number 6, so just put it in the middle, and now I'll leave that be, and that'll light up no bother at all. So there's no fire lighters, no meths. We put meths in there, you get a big whoosh. It's very volatile, you know, it's a bit like setting fire to some petrol. There you go, you can see the flame building in the bottom. Excuse my reflection and one thing and another, it's the best I can get. So what that's doing now, that's that yellow flame, so that's the diesel and the tissue obviously burning. It burns yellow till that diesel sort of gets a bit more temperature about it, and then you'll start to get a blue flame going, and once you get a blue flame going, you're there. Well, you can just see the flame slowly building now. Only a few minutes in, we're about 3 minutes in now. I'll just keep that going, just keep letting it build. There's a bit more diesel coming in. It's certainly igniting the diesel now, so the tissue will be about gone. That's just its wick. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. Right, that's the flame building nicely. You can see it's blue. Licks of yellow at the top there. It's still settling down. It normally takes about half an hour to settle down and get up to temperature. It's coming along nicely. So that's still on number 3 because that's where I put it. So I'm going to turn it down to number 1 now and just let it settle down. I'll just let you have a look at that for a minute and see how it settles down and burns normally, and it just stays and burns like that all the time. Now it's a bit windy here today, so it's a little bit unsteady, the flame. Obviously the wind's just giving it a bit of effect, but it just goes up and down a little bit. But as a rule it's normally flat, calm and quite consistent all the way around. But let's just see what it calms down to, shall we? Right, that's it. It's a little bit flickering there. The flame just comes up and down because it's a bit windy today. We used to have more trouble with the wind, but I changed the cowl on the top, which I'll show you now. That's the H cowl. Stops the backdraft. Much better in the wind. But that's it now. That settles down. That'll just burn like that forever and a day now. I'll give it another clean out in a couple of months. Well, I won't, because it'll be June. So hopefully we'll stop using it soon because the weather's going to improve. One thing left to do. Put the kettle back on the top. And that just stays simmering away, and you've always got a kettle ready for a cup of tea. So there we go. She's been running about an hour now. It's all settled down. That's normal service, that is. Lovely. Kettle's on the top. All you could possibly need. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. If so, click the thumbs up, give us a like. If you want to know anything, put it in the comments. Let's chat about it. It's always good to learn. I'll learn off you, you learn off me. And if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please think about doing so. Click the subscribe button and the little bell, and it will notify you of all our future uploads. So until the next one, take care of yourselves, and ta-da for now.